Hey, what's going on everybody? Today I wanted to talk about Murkrow and why it is so popular on the VGC 2023 Series 1 ladder. So Murkrow is actually the fourth most used Pokemon right now, which is a huge surprise considering Murkrow, it has an evolved form, Honchkrow, which it sees almost no use at all. And the reason for this is pretty simple. It's because Honchkrow does not have access to Prankster, while Murkrow does. And for those of you who don't know, Prankster adds priority to all of your status non-damaging moves. So Murkrow with Prankster is pretty much the best setter of Tailwind in the entire format. The only other Pokemon that really gets Tailwind in this format and can use it with priority is Talonflame. And with Talonflame, it only works with Gale Wings when you're at full HP. So realistically, Talonflame can really only use it once, especially if you're running something like Brave Bird or Flare Blitz and you take some recoil damage. And then after that, I mean, you can set up Tailwind, but you don't get the priority anymore. Murkrow can set it up with priority at the beginning of the match, halfway through. It doesn't matter if it took damage or not. And on top of that, it gets a ton of utility moves. It gets Haze, and all of these are boosted by Prankster too. So you can use Haze to eliminate stat changes, you can use Taunt to deter something like Trick Room. This gets Feather Dance, which lowers the target's attack by 2 stages. You could run Thunder Wave for speed control even more. You could use Squash, which is even more utility if your opponent sets up the Trick Room. You could do Weather, you could set up Sunny Day, you could set up Rain Dance, and I mean, it even gets Perish Song if you wanted to do some kind of strategy like that. So overall, Murkrow gets a lot of utility, and all of this gets priority because of its ability. And since Murkrow is a Dark type, it's actually immune to the Mirror, or a Prankster user wants to use Taunt against Murkrow. So it's very easy to set up Tailwinds because you can't really be taunted, and anything that would taunt you wouldn't have Prankster. So you set up Tailwind and then you get taunted. It doesn't really matter, your Tailwind's already up. So what I like to do with Murkrow is you have a few options for your item. The obvious one is the Eviolite, and what this does, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, but I'm sure what this does is it increases your defense and special defense stat to 1.5 times. So I mean, Murkrow's defenses and special defense, it's really not that great, and I invested some bulk here just so it could survive things like Fake Out. Really the only counter to Murkrow is to just kind of snipe it with an extreme speed. But I actually don't even think you really need to do this, because I like to change its Terra type to Ghost, which makes it immune to Fake Out and extreme speed. So I mean, that's even some more extra utility you could run on this Pokemon. But if you don't want to run the Eviolite, you could run a Focus Sash, so that way you can always survive a hit, and then you can set up your Tailwinds, your Hazes, your Taunts, whatever you want. But I think my favorite item to run on Murkrow right now is the new item, the Covert Cloak. And what this does is it makes you immune to the secondary effects of other Pokemon's attacks. And you know, this might not sound that important, but this is really good for Fake Out, which is really the only thing that'll stop your setup. And you know, you won't flinch because you have the Covert Cloak. So you know, even if you ate a Fake Out, you don't need to waste your Terra type, change into Ghost, and then you can set up your Tailwinds and you can just go crazy with Murkrow. And something that Murkrow does even more than this is it's very good with Pokemon like Goldango, which is very popular right now, and Hydreigon. And you know, I'm sure now that I said that, you're wondering why, and it's because of their powerful moves. I mean, Goldango has Make It Rain, and Hydreigon has Draco Meteor, and both are very, very powerful, but the drawback is that it lowers your special attack. Well, if you have this next to a Murkrow, you can set up Tailwind on the first turn, and then that makes your Goldango, your Hydreigon, pretty much outspeed everything on the board. And then you go for these powerful moves. You go for Make It Rain, you go for Draco Meteor, and your special attack drops. And if Murkrow's still around by the end of that turn after you use that move, you use Haze, and then you can just get rid of that stat drop. So you can just spam Make It Rains. You could put Specs on Goldango and just make it crazy strong. Just click this over and over and over again, and there's no penalty because you can just reset your stats with Haze. So Murkrow is just a very, very, very good utility mon right now, and it's the best user of Tailwind, and you can just set up Haze's taunts. You get all these utility options, and it's all boosted by Prankster. And for those reasons, Murkrow is number 4 in usage right now, which is crazy for an unevolved Pokemon. So anyway, that's enough talk about Murkrow. I will show some replays at the end of this video, just kind of showcasing what Murkrow can do. If you enjoyed the video and you're still watching up to this point, please leave a like, please subscribe, it helps me a ton. And please enjoy the replays. Thank you for watching.